Hey everyone, in this video I'll be replacing my whole suspension. So the front suspension and the rear suspension. So it's gonna be quite a show. I'm doing multiple projects at the same time. For example, I am also installing a sound deadener because might as well be proactive and install that. So it's going to be crazy. So first thing first, we're gonna take off the suspension and then we'll do a comparison of the old ones to the new ones. All right, so the plan is to get these coilovers off. So first thing we need to do is I got some rust penetration. I got the WD-40 version of it. So just gonna spray those there. Get that bolt over there. All right, also don't forget these little bad boys. Cool, we'll let those soak. And gonna do that for all 4 coilovers. And under the hoods, we will do these bolts as well. Give them like a little spray. There we are. There we go. Make sure to get a bottle that is compatible with the straw. Unfortunately, this nozzle right here is not compatible with it, so it makes a pretty big mess, unfortunately. All right, looking at the driver's side, front, and we're gonna take this off. So we're gonna start. Let's start with these ones, the sway bar link and the lines. This one I believe is 17, and it's a 17. And we're gonna need a Allen wrench and a wrench there. So unfortunately, it's so rusted. I stripped it out trying to get this bolt off, and it looks like I'll have to grind it off and get a new sway bar link. So kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'll be cutting it right there. There we go. Let's cut it off. It's gonna be super hot. All right, we are going to take this off now. There's that first line. This is also another line right there. There we are. And we want to get this clip off as well. And we are ready to do these bolts. Got 22 millimeter. There we are. First one off. And I'm gonna get something to hold this up. Sorry, you can't see. You're gonna hold something to hold the disc brake up. All right, I got a paint can to hold it up. And we'll take off this next bolt. There we are. Now all we need to do is do the top bolts to get it off. All right, so we're at the top, driver's side still. Don't touch this bolt because that is the coilover. I'll release the suspension and it'll explode. It will not be good for you. So we want to do these three right here. These are 14 millimeters. There's one. Two. And there's the third one. All right, and everything's all loose, and this should just be able to come out. And there it is. There's the suspension. Coilover. So, gonna cut this off as well. By the looks of it, I think I'll have to replace all of them since they're all super rusty, which is... And there you are. That's the sway bar link. It's very hot. Don't touch it with the bare hands. Well, first I did cut into here, but it doesn't seem like it's quite the integrity. So there you go. Now we're ready for the new suspension. So now we are on the passenger side, the front still, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna have to cut this off, and exact same bolts, exact same sizes. So pretty easy. So we'll get this cut off. All right, got that off. Let's get these bolts off. This one, I believe, is 12. Yep, that one's your 12. And we'll switch over to the 22. Oh, let me take this clip off too. On the bottom. Let the compressor fill up. Cool. There it is. Suspension is free. let's do the top now. All right, so 14 millimeter again. Don't touch the middle bolt. And there it is, it's gone. Okay, it is time to take it out. And there is strut number 2. And now we'll move on to the rear. So we are looking at the passenger side rear, and they're going to be different sizes. This one is going to be a 14, I believe. Yep, 14. This one is a 12, and this one is a 19. So you'll need to get some new sizes, and we'll start with the sway bar links. Just the 14. And I should connect this. There we go. Now for the middle, this is a number 5 Allen key. Oh, and I was able to get it off, so this is great. I'm gonna be able to save some money and not have to buy some sway bar links for the rear. So we'll have to make sure that I don't damage this sway bar link on the other side. But that's awesome that I was able to get that off. And the great thing about these Toyota ones is that they have not shown any damage. They look perfectly fine. They're just really rusty. So that's awesome. Able to save that. All right, now let's do this one here. This one's going to be the 12. There's quite a bit of lines. I don't think attached to this, but there's an extra line compared to the front, and that's because it has the emergency brake. That was easy. That on. Oh, and there's a sneaky bolt right here. That looks like a number 10, so let me just... Yeah, that's going to be number 10. Also super easy to get off. Alright, so let's take off those struts. And again, this is going to be 19. Cool. So I've got a wooden block under here. You can see right there, so that it just leans on it. Loose. There we go. All right. So let's take the bolts at the top. So with the way that this car is designed, you'll have to take out the back seat. So you'll have to first take out the bench here, and then you'll be able to take out the back here. I do have a separate video for that, so please check that out. And this will allow you to access the top 3 bolts. They're just right behind the seatbelt here. So it's a little tight. It's gonna be hard to get an impact gun in there. If you need some more room, you could definitely take off the seatbelt. It looks like you just need to take that one bolt off and you'll be good. But I'm gonna do it with it on, and let's get started. So these 3 top bolts are a 12mm, and I'm gonna start off with a hand wrench. Alright, and that's the 3 bolts. We'll take out the strut. Alright, we should be able to just pull out this strut. Move my flashlight here. And there we are. There's the strut assembly. Okay, so we are on the driver rear, and again we'll start with the sway bars. So this one's a 14mm. Get it broken off a little bit. Got a 14mm wrench with a number 5 Allen key. There we go. So I'll save myself from having to buy some rear stabilizers. Alright, and now we'll deal with the lines here. First one's going to be a 12, I believe. Here's the first one. And number 10. And that one's off. And number 19 for the big bolts. First one's off. And we'll do the bottom one. There you go. And there's that bolt. So let's now take the top 3 bolts off. Alright, so again it is a 12 millimeter. There we are. That is all 3. So let's take the strut off. All right, let's take off this strut. It's super easy, just like that. That is all 4 struts we have taken off. So let's do a comparison of the old ones versus the new ones. Okay, so I have received my new set of suspension. I decided that I would go for the Coilover Strut Plus. And the reason why I went over Coilover instead of Monroe is because I've heard that Coilover had high reviews compared to Monroe, and Monroe had their struts seemed like they didn't last very long. They only 100,000 kilometers or so. So I wanted to get more heavy duty stock suspension, and there was also another one, and I can't remember. It was highly reviewed as well, but they didn't make it for the Camry. So we went for the Kaib, and I didn't want to get the Toyota ones because, as you can see, these Toyota ones, one of them snapped on me. So I'm gonna go with something different. I also purchased some strut stabilizer links as well, and they only had one of each, so I have one of each, two different ones. This one's a $60 link, and this one's an $80 link. So it is what it is, but I figure that since they're the same size and everything, it shouldn't matter. All right, let's get some unboxing done. All right, let's start with the front. So we have the SR4576 and SR4577. See there, that's the SR4577, SR4576. I don't know exactly which one's the left and which one's the right. I think I'll be able to figure out when we open this box. Peel that away. Unfortunately, there's some damage to the box. All right. So here's the new one. This is heavy. So that's the first. And here's the second one. SR4576. It comes with installation instruction. Secure, lift the vehicle, remove the wheel, remove brake line from start assembly. Yeah, so this is just the installation instructions. So we will take a look at that for sure. One didn't come with that one, so oh well. Okay, so I figured it out without having to look online which one's which. You can tell just by cross-referencing with the other one. So I've taped this one. This one's the passenger side, and you can see by this bracket right here that is the exact same thing with this bracket. You can also tell that this is for the right front because it has right, the little R right there on the bracket. So that's one way you can decipher which one's which. And same thing for this one. Bracket is on the same side here, and they have L right here as well for left. So when I lift these two, this new one feels heavier, And I can immediately notice that when you take a look at the boot when the spring is fully compressed, or the strut, this boot is super loose. And you can see the cylinder. This one, it's covering the whole thing without having to compress. So that's really nice to see, because that shows that this should be able to protect more from debris. And you can see on this side as well, exact same thing with the boot. You can also immediately tell the color, nice black, brand new, nice and clean, all rusty. This has put on 210,000 kilometers on it. So lots of dirt. It's pretty gross, this one right here, or the old ones. So this driver front one, this is the one that failed. You can see where right there it snapped off the coil, and you can see here that this coil right here is nicely wrapped around there. So yeah, this looks very nice, this one right here, and can't wait to get the new ones on. Alright, so let's take a look at the rear struts. So for the rear ones, we have the SR4264 and the SR4263. You can see there, that's what it is, and we'll get unboxing. Got my X-Acto. Same thing for this. So there's the first one. You can tell that it's the rear because it's nice and skinny on the top here. And it looks longer, but I don't think it is longer. But yeah, that's it there. And same thing for this one. Looking for an unboxing experience, because it's definitely not the unboxing experience you're gonna get. They are just coilovers shoved into a box. So there you have it. This is the brand new coilovers, and again, I got a set of instructions for these coilovers as well. And let's get them side by side. Cool, so again, you can immediately tell which one's which by just looking at the bracket. So these two are lined up, and this one's the passenger rear. And there is also an R in here as well. Again, with this one, also the bracket is the same location, and this one has a L on the side. And when we take a look at the boot is a lot longer in the back on the Toyota versions, but this boot right here on the rear is ripped. I'm finding the rear ones to be more saggy, it's more bouncy. The struts are definitely leaking out. So maybe because of that bad boot, it's become more worn down. This boot is also torn up as well. And you can see it's the differences. So these ones are really dirty and rusty, and these ones are nice and brand new. So the last thing to unbox are these sway bar links. This one's the cheaper model. It's sealed in a plastic bag. And this one uses the same system of bolt and Allen key. These are just protector caps, these plastic pieces. I'll take them off when I'm doing the install. And then we got the more expensive one, the $80 one. And this one comes with grease valves with it. So if you wanted to re-grease your sway bar links, then you're able to do that. There they are there. And there's the nipple, grease nipples. Can't move these ones because of the cap, but yeah, you can tell these ones are quite similar in size. But when you bring this one over, this one is thick. The rod is a lot thicker than this one right here. I've never had any of these snap. It's always been the problem with the boot. So it is what it is. So we'll get these nipples installed here. It feels tight, so I'm gonna have to get a ratchet for that. Looks to be very small, maybe a 10 or 8 millimeter. And that's how it would look like, pretty much, the nipples. All right, now let's get the suspension installed. All right, got the new suspension. I'm gonna take off these top bolts right here. We are going to be starting on the driver's side. Driver's side front, and this driver's side front is the SR4577 from Coil. So we'll put it up in here. I have a bungee cord here that's in the way. It's just holding up my disc from falling like that. So, now that it's out of the way, bolts on. Cool. So that's on. So I haven't tightened up the bolts at the top yet. They're just holding the coil but you can see that it is twisted over to the right, and we would like it to be in the center. Cool thing about these coilovers is that these actually move with your disc, so that's why it's twisted like that. It's not straight. And what you can do is you can just grab these two no brackets and you can just twist it until it's aligned, just like that. So now I'll be able to get the bolts onto here. And I'm just going to lift this on. And all I want to do is try to get these bolts in. Just like that. So we got the first one in. And there's the second one. The second one's a lot easier. And we'll just twist these on for now. Because next we want to tighten up the bolts on the top to torque spec. Okay, so these bolts are 14 millimeter. I'm just gonna quickly get them down using this. And we'll just keep going in circles until it feels tight on the hand. And then we'll torque them to 66 foot-pounds. Okay. So I got this at 110. I'm gonna bring it down to a 66. So that's 50. 66. You can see there. 50, and then I've gone plus 16. So it's at 50 there, and then I've gone plus 16 to make it to 66. Just a triple check. All right, now let's tighten up the bolts below. Okay, so time to tighten these bolts up, and I'm actually going to put some blue thread locker on, and it's not required. You can do it without it, but in my case, I'm going to do it just because. So I'm just going to Put it on there. And this one's the 19mm. Yeah, sorry, this is 22. This is the 22mm. So I got my 22mm here. I'll continue to put this on. At the moment, I am just going to be threading on until there's no gap, and then that's when I'll use my torque bar. All right. And we're going to put some thread lock in this one. All right. To get this up to torque spec, it is going to be 155 pounds of torque. So I got 150 plus 6 because I actually, for some reason, don't have a 5. So I'm going to do 156 pounds of torque on these nuts and bolts. If you have a smaller torque bar, it would prove beneficial. Oh. I'll just double check both of them. There we go. Strut is in place. Now it's time to put these on. So this gets clipped into the slots on the sides there. You can hear a nice audible click there. And so there's a little clip there. This needs to get threaded into this hole. So put this first. Oh no, this goes behind it. So this goes threads in there, and then this goes in front. And then use your 10mm bolt to tighten this. And it is not threading. So let's see what the issue is. Okay, so it threads. Let's grab my 10mm. And there we are. Putting in good. And just a nice hand tighten. Nothing too hard. Don't want to be snapping bolts. All right, and I'm just gonna do a final check of all the bolts are torqued. So these bottom ones down here. Perfect. And we'll just double check the top ones. Okay, so I went ahead and checked the top for the 66 pounds torque, and it was all good. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and put the stabilizer link on. So we're going to put it in the back because that's where they were installed originally. And just lift up this bar and it'll get you to the correct height. I'm also going to put some thread lock on this. Just a little dot. So this one's the more expensive one. We got 17. So it looks like it's already twisting, and I'll have to get another, I believe it's a 17 on the back. That's how it gets threaded in. Okay, I got the in there. right, so that's as much as we can do for that. Do the same thing on the bottom here. Not really a left-handed kind of guy. Oh. Cool. So there we are. I don't know the correct torque for that, but yeah, just tighten it with my hand, and that should be good, especially with the thread locker. So there we are. We're done with the driver front struts. Let's move on to the passenger side. All right, time to put the passenger side coilover on. Passenger side front. So perfect. Got those screws on, those nuts. Now it's time to put the other nuts below on. Okay, time to put this in. So that's where we need it to be. So we need to twist this to the right. So it's nice and straight. That was a lot easier to put in. Just do a bunch of wiggling. Eventually it'll give it in. Just like that. And for extra security, just gonna the nuts there while we torque up the top nuts. So 14 millimeter. I'm gonna start with this one because this seems to have a lot of thread. Time to do the 66 pounds. Oh. And that's it. Top's done. And we're gonna tighten these bolts up. I'm going to put some thread locker. And same thing on the bottom. Oh, that was a lot. And time for a torque of 155 pounds. And double check. Perfect. And put the brake line on. So again, this goes in the middle first. Oh no, sorry. This goes in the middle first, and then this goes there. This is a 12 millimeter. And just good hand tighten. And it's time for the sway bar link. So I got the cheaper $60 one right here. I need to take off the covers. There we are. So this one has the option to either use a wrench or an Allen key. So there's the wrench part, and that's the Allen key part right there. So that's pretty nice. You have multiple options. Get those threaded in. And time to put the bolts on. So this one is a 17 millimeter, and I'm gonna grab an Allen key. Looks like a 6. It's going to be a 5. Oh, nope, it is a 6. The good tighten. I can definitely tighten this way more than I could on the other side. So that's super convenient. And do the same thing on this side. I don't have to put the Allen key in yet. And I realized I forgot to put thread locker on, but because I can tighten this really nicely, I won't need it. And this one, oh yeah, didn't even need the Allen key. That's super nice. And there we go. That is it for the front. So you can see we have everything installed. We have a brand new coilover, which is pretty awesome. Hopefully these won't break like my other ones. And here's the driver's side. and they look pretty awesome. The black looks super nice, dude, super clean, looks brand new. It's like a brand new car almost. All right, it is time for the rear, and we are going to start on the passenger side. This one is going to be the SR4263, and it says right on here, so perfect. And we'll get this up into the back of the vehicle. This is a struggle because I can't really see the clock. So I'm having struggles trying to get this in, and I think it's just because this thread, it is supposed to be bent towards the inside, but I think it's bent a little too much. So I'm just gonna tap it just a little bit so that we can get it in. Yeah, so that moved pretty easily into place. Yeah, I can move this with my fingers. So it might have been something that I was damaged in transportation. Yeah, that's it. That was a lot easier. All right, got 2 in. And I got 3 in. So that was exactly why I couldn't get it in, is because that thread was bent. So yeah, I just slightly tapped it with the hammer to get that thread in. All right, and let's put the big bolts in here. It's already straight, which is perfect. I think I had this a little too high, so I'm gonna remove this. All right, got that one in. Just giving it a bunch of jiggles. Oh yeah. And I'm just pushing my knee, pushing the disc with my knee. All right. There we go. We got those big bolts in. So now we're gonna torque up the top bolts. So we're gonna tighten these up. These are 13mm bolts. And once we have them tight, then we are going to torque them to 29 foot-pounds. All right, so it's time to torque these to 29 foot-pounds. That one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. So there you go. That's only 29 foot-pounds on the top. All right, time to do these bolts right here. So I have thread lock. Put just a dab. That's a little too much. And these are going to be 19 millimeter. The thread locker there as well. And to torque it down, we're going to do 133 foot-pounds. And since I don't have a 3, I'll be doing a 4. So 134. So I don't have enough room. I'm gonna have to get an extension for this. All right, I'm back with an extension. There we are. Here's the first one. Cool. So that's it. We have our strut torqued down. So time to put these lines on. So that goes there. And we got the big bolt. And it's going to be a 12 millimeter. And just a hand tighten. Oh, I got this accidentally on, so need to loosen this off. Okay. So unfortunately, I have some deleted videos. Somehow got deleted. Anyways, so what happened? I screwed this on. This is a 12 millimeter, and this one's a 10 millimeter. This 10 millimeter gets slotted into this little inlet, the circle, and this gets slotted into this little keyway. Just like that, you can see on the other side there. And then last but not least, I put the sway bar link on. This is a 14 millimeter, so I took a 14 millimeter wrench and I took a number 5 Allen key wrench, and I just hand tightened it. So yeah, that is it for the passenger rear side, and we'll go over to the driver rear side. All right, we are on the last coilover. This is the driver rear side. So we'll take these bolts off and keep them over here. And now it's time to lift it out. Or sorry, lift it in. Time to install it. So I'm just gonna give a little tap here. They're in the holes, and I'm just gonna reach over and thread the 3 bolts on. Cool. They are threaded on. So now we're gonna get the bottom piece together. Make sure that your sway bar link is on the other side. I want to put this on with it on the other side. And we are going to need to lift it up in order to get access into, get the bolts into those holes. Preferably with the strut. Okay, so the problem I'm facing is I'm de-threading the bolts at the top, so I'm actually just going to tighten them right now, and so that we can get this on. So these are 13 millimeters, and we'll just go around in circles until we have them all tightened up. Alright, time to torque it to 29 foot-pounds, sorry. And that's it for the top. Let's work at the bottom now. Okie dokie, time to put the bolts in, because I was having troubles a bit earlier, so. Alright, after doing that, I recommend you putting these in first before you do the top, because that was brutal. Wow, that was a lot of work. So, yeah, that's done. Yeah, I don't recommend you doing that way. You should definitely do it the way that you install these first and then you insert it, because that was hard. So thread locker on these bolts, just a little dab. I realize that I'm gonna have to swap these around because they don't work when you try to put the bolts in, so. Swap that around. That was not bad. Because we have a thread locker in there, I'm just going to do it right now. And we're going to do the same for the bottom. And it's in. And so I screwed in the 12 millimeter there, and we are now doing the 10 millimeter. And just a good hand tightening. That's all you need. All right, sweet. We got the lines on, and let's torque this to 136 foot-pounds. And got the extension here. And that was 136 pounds, foot-pounds. And last but not least, or last and least, the last thing we gotta do, and then we gotta put the tires on. And then take it over to the dealership to get it, get a wheel alignment. Get that in, get this started. So this is a 14 millimeter, and you need a number 6. Number 5. Allen key, Allen wrench. and did a good hand tightening. And there we have it. We have done the rear suspension. And we also did the front suspension. So we did the whole setup. So that is awesome. So that is it for the rear suspension. We got our coilovers on and all the accessories attached to the coilover. We torqued them down. We removed the back seat in order to gain access to that. And same thing applies to the passenger side, where we remove the tires, we remove the old suspension, and we put a brand new one in. And we torqued these down too. Had to remove the back seat for that. All right, it has been a couple weeks with the new suspension, and so far it is pretty awesome. It gets a little stiff initially, but once you take it on the drive and stuff like that, it loosens up. So, and it's back to that factory ride height, which is super nice. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it really helped you out. I appreciate you to like this video and also subscribe for more content like this. Thank you.